that his lights got cut off on Christmas during the holidays. They shut this man lights off and out of money. So I am Tina Divine. I'm a real estate broker, and this is the Tina Divine Show. And we are the realest real estate show on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. We are the realest real estate show. So today we are talking about one of the members from NSYNC. I like stories like this. Not that I like to hear about people who have fallen on hard times, but I like to hear the realities. I like the real. Give me the real. Give me the real deal. Don't give me fluff. And this particular member of NSYNC, he was telling a story of how the group just stopped. And I remember that. Like, I wasn't an NSYNC fan. It's not my genre of music, but I do remember that they were everywhere. They even had like dolls made up of them. And then all of a sudden they were gone. Here today, gone tomorrow. And when he was saying that his lights got cut off on Christmas during the holidays. They shut this man lights off. He had a particular house that he purchased back when the group was everything and everywhere. And he purchased a home for almost $3 million, like right under $3 million. He fully renovated the home. He added a golf course. He added saunas, a lagoon. The home was around 10,000 square feet. So it's nice house. He bought it and renovated. And he was saying that at the time that he did all that, he talked to his accountant, did the right thing. Let me talk to my guy. Let me make sure the money's right. He talked to his accountant, and his accountant was like, yeah, you got the money, no problem. But what they didn't know, what was coming, was a stop to the money. And basically what happened, the group just stops. They stopped performing. They stopped touring. They stopped putting out albums. And once the group stopped, so did the money. And Joey was saying that he had no idea that the group was going to come to a stop. And the one thing that I do appreciate about real estate and just financial matters, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're famous. It doesn't matter if you're homeless. It doesn't matter if you have a regular job, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a teacher. Finances are finances. Numbers are numbers. And when the expenses are more than the income, we have a problem. And that's what happened with him. He found himself in a problem. He found himself in a sticky position because everything came to a stop. And the thing about real estate is, it's kind of messed up, but the thing about real estate is that your problem becomes someone else's investment, right? So what ended up happening is that he ended up having to sell his house at an auction. And he had one accountant, and I guess he switched accountants and had a different accountant. And when he had that different accountant, that accountant pretty much said to him, you got to get out of this house because this house is going to take you into bankruptcy. And so he had to sell the house. He ended up selling the house for less than what he paid for it. So this is another example of real estate not appreciating. And he ended up having to sell the home. I'm going to put up a picture of the home, overhead picture of the home so you can see it. Like, this is the house that he had. It's nice, right? Nice big old house. All the grandeur that people like to see, that celebrities like to have in their homes. He had it here. He had the lagoon. He had the golf course. You had the saunas. You had the rooms, the man cave. You had all of the things in the house that people like. This is him here with Justin, his bandmate. And here's pictures of the inside of the home. So it looks like it was a nice house. It looks like it was a really nice house. But like I said, he got to a point where he could not continue to afford the property. And when that happens, you have one or two options. You either allow the house to take you under and you continue to pay what you can pay, or you sell the house. And in this case, though, when you have a house this big, it's usually not the cost of the house that takes you under. It's the auxiliary costs, the maintenance, the utilities. Those are the costs that take you under, especially if your money has stopped. If you don't have any additional income coming in, those expenses, that $50,000, $80,000 light bill, that $100,000, $120,000 water bill becomes unbearable when there's no income coming in. And that's where he found himself. He found himself in a position where the money had stopped. The money had stopped coming in, but the bills didn't. Ultimately, to avoid bankruptcy, he ended up selling his house in the auction. He sold it for a fraction of what he paid for it. But him selling his house in the auction, someone picked it up. And I'm not sure if it was sold again, but that same exact house that he sold for a fraction of what he paid is currently on the market for $7.99 million. 7.9. It's $8 million. The real estate game is a funny game. It's a funny game. And to play the real estate game, and win, one of the things that has to stay constant with you is cash. You have to maintain money. As long as you can maintain income, you can maintain the upkeep and the cost of the house. Once your income is affected, and this is it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you had. It doesn't matter how much money you used to make. It doesn't matter who you're related to. It doesn't matter who you are. When that money stops, those bills don't. And when you own a huge home with a lot of land around it, and pools and gazebos and golf courses and basketball courts, all that stuff has to be lit up, right? People not walking outside of their home into darkness. They're walking outside to a lit path, lit lights all around. Those utility bills on those big old mansions and big old houses are in the six figures every single month. Joey found himself in a position where his light bill got cut off. His lights got cut off. He and his family ended up packing up their stuff and moving in with his parents until he could get himself into a better position financially. That house was forcing him into bankruptcy. And I would say it probably wasn't the cost of the home, but the utility costs, the taxes, water bill. Those were the charges that were probably putting him into the poorhouse. Learn from celebrities. Do not overextend yourself on property, or when you are making money, make sure that you either have a exit strategy for whatever investments you get into, or you put enough money aside to carry the cost for whatever debt you get yourself into. One or the other you have to do. I always feel that it is a smart idea to always have an exit strategy. Unfortunately for him, during the time when the house was about to bring him under into bankruptcy. It was during a time when the economy wasn't that well, right? And that's something that I feel a lot of people don't address when it comes to real estate, that they don't address the economy. The economy affects everything. And if we are in a slowdown, which is what was going on when he had to sell his house, because it's I believe he sold the house. Yeah, he sold the house in 2011. What was going on in 2011? Home prices were down. Home prices were down bad in 2011. So he had to sell in 2011 when he talked to an accountant that told him, listen, this, you got to get rid of this house because it's just going to take you into bankruptcy. So to avoid it, he sold the home. But in 2011, prices were down everywhere across the nation. Prices were down. This is still during the 2008 to 2010 mortgage debacle. People were walking away from homes. People were allowing homes to take them into foreclosure. And he was one of the people who didn't have income coming in, who had, I'm sure, a huge housing bill every single month. So he had to face the uncomfortable options that were before him. And the best option is sell the house. But because the economy was so bad, selling a house in 2011, if you could avoid selling your house for a couple of years, that would have been the years to avoid. 2011, and that's why I said having cash could have kind of eased the process. Because if he had the cash to maintain the house until maybe 2015, 2016, then he probably could have sold for profit. But in 2011, when everybody was walking away from homes, buyers, it was a strong buyer's market. Sellers were bending over backwards to get these houses sold. There was a mortgage debacle. There were a ton of foreclosures and short sales. He wasn't going to get his money back on that house in 2011, unfortunately. He just wasn't going to get it. And it was a humbling experience, I'm sure. But I'm sure it was a learning experience. You know, sometimes we have to go through the dark times, go through moments of uncertainty to build us. You know, because I'm pretty sure that when he started making money again, he was much more conscious, much more intentional with how he spent his money and probably how he saved his money. This is a lesson that a lot of people have to learn the hard way, unfortunately. And it's also unfortunate that, you know, things came to a head for him during a time when the economy wasn't doing as well either. You know, and I think sometimes people overlook the influence that the economy has on the real estate market. But this was an interesting read, and this was an interesting article, and this was an interesting conversation to have, because I think sometimes we look at certain celebrities, even although you may not hear music from some celebrities, you still think that they got it like that. And the reality is a lot of these celebrities don't have it like that. A lot of these celebrities are struggling just like you and me. They're basically doing whatever they need to do to make ends meet. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.